Okay, everyone, welcome back to another episode on the streets.
Yes, we are back. The anchor of the week on the streets. It's Zach, it's Courtney, and it's you today, everyone. Well, not really you.
At the same time, yeah. Anyway, we're in Camden, as you can see. What a day.
Guys,
what a day for it.
It is beautiful.
It's class,
Wish you were here.
Wish you were here, yeah. Anyway, we're going to just ask some strangers on the streets, more or less about control and the things that we touched on last week. So
we're super excited.
Yeah, we want to get
juicy spicy.
Yeah,
spicy and juicy.
Spicy and juicy, yeah.
That's the goal for today.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're super excited. We haven't done the interviews yet. We are literally from here going to go out and see what people think about control and who is controlling them.
Yes.
Great question.
Let's do it.
All right, I am here with Becca. Right now we are actually queuing for Ed Sheeran, a show. We didn't even know it was happening, but this is super exciting. Really cool. I love that I get to feel like I'm a part of this. So thank you, Becca and friends, for letting me crash this party. But yeah, Becca, today we are talking about control. And I think maybe right off the bat, what's the first thing you think of when you think of control?
Driving.
Really?
I don't know why. Just like, I don't know, if you're not in control of driving, that's not good, is it?
Right, so kind of like...
Safety, I guess.
Safety, I guess would be, yeah. So when you think of like control, you would kind of have more of like a positive connotation
so. Yeah,
to it?
I think I'm quite a not controlling person, but I like to sort of like be organised, like know what I'm doing, know what's happening when, and then like sort of having that element of control makes me feel like relaxed.
Right.
So like I can like chill out if I know everything's in control.
Everything's in control.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like would being out of control be like your nightmare?
Kind of, yeah, like my own like personal nightmare. Yeah, like I hate when things like go like, but then I think there's like a level of like trying to be spontaneous is difficult.
Yeah, how do you manage that then?
I don't know, like I sort of always think, I always think that like, I don't know, like what could go wrong or whereas like if I'm in control and I know what's planned, then there's less chance things will go wrong.
Yeah. Was there ever a time when like something went so out of control for you that you decided like, no, I'm gonna be like in control now, or was it just
the
kind
other
of
day
something?
I was in Brighton where I live, and I had like a massive panic attack in this car park for absolutely no reason. I think it's because the car park I was supposed to go to was shut.
Right.
So I was in the middle of Brighton, didn't know where I was going, and I just lost it.
Wow.
Completely went mental.
Wow.
But then all I had to do was Google where the next car park was, and I was like, I don't know why I went so.
I think that
out
is
of control.
Yeah, but that is so key because I think so many people like struggle with anxiety. I would say these days, but I think we're maybe just more vocal about it now.
I think so, yeah.
So can you talk us through that? Like maybe for someone listening and they feel like they're struggling with maybe anxiety or feeling out of control, how do you kind of get that control back, so to speak?
I think I try and like take myself out of the situation. Like when I was like lost in this, couldn't find this car park, I just sort of stood there and was thinking like, right, don't panic because that's going to make it 10 times worse. Like think what's logically the best idea to do.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard to stay calm, but just try and just chill out.
Yeah. Do you think there's ever a time when maybe like in control is like a bad thing? Maybe, so that doesn't even have to be necessarily you or just like in general in society.
I don't know. I think sometimes, but yeah, if people are too controlling or like obsessive of things, you probably you might not enjoy life as much.
Yeah. So then where would you draw that line, between loving to have control and not being too controlling?
Know. That is a very hard question.
Yeah. If you don't have an answer, that's fine, because I don't know if I have an answer for that either.
I've never really thought about that, to be honest. I think it's probably down to just you personally, isn't it? Like, when to sort of take a step back and be like, well, this is a bit too much, I need to calm down. And then, like, as well, you need to know when to take control. If things aren't going well, you can step in and sort that out.
And what about the things that, like, we can't really control in life? Because I know sometimes, as humans, we like to, like, so to speak, like, play God, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, work things out, but what if it's something that like you actually can't control?
I think you just have to get on with it.
Yeah.
If you can't control it, then you can't control it. Yeah. Just get on with life.
Move on. Amazing. Any final thoughts for us, Becca?
I think everyone needs to just chill out a bit more. To be honest, like everyone needs to stop caring about so much and just
that is a good
chill
point.
Out a bit. Yeah. I think if people would enjoy life more if people cared about less stuff.
Cared about less stuff, or the right stuff. Amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much, Becca.
Worries.
Thank you for letting me sit with you, and I really hope Ed has a great show
We love
tonight.
Ed Sheeran! Woo!
Okay, so we have Karen with us. Thank you so much for coming on.
That's okay.
And this is the coolest setting as well, at a pub. So anyway, Karen, we're talking about control specifically today. What is control for you?
Well, I live on my own, so I'm very much in control of what I do. And if I'm not in control of what I do, so for me, control is the way I live, actually.
Right.
I don't want to control others,
Right.
but I have to control what I'm doing.
Right, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
What would that look like exactly? I mean, go into it a little bit more. I mean, is that just life decisions, work, you know? all
Yeah,
those sorts
and if I decide, like, this is what, if I've come to London, this is what I want to do,
Yeah.
I have to, and if I'm not doing it, I start getting a bit wobbly because I'm not in control.
So what does wobbly look like exactly? Bit nervous or anxious?
Anxious
Okay.
is the word, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because these are all things that we're talking about currently. Just the idea of like we can get wobbly when we're not in control.
Absolutely.
Do you think that's good or bad, or do you think that's
I think
just...
it's bad, yeah.
Right, okay.
I do think it's bad. But
why is that?
I think it's bad, but if that's the way you are, that, unfortunately.
Right, okay.
So it can be really irrational sometimes, and you know it's irrational.
Right. But you think that's just the way life is almost?
Yeah, like what's happened today? We went somewhere and it wasn't... I know. We was going to get the canal boat into here, into Camden.
Right.
And we went to get it this morning. And we were sat there and no sign of anyone, but the sign was there. And then when I've looked online, it doesn't start till April. And I'm really angry.
Right.
And there's nothing I can do about that, is there?
Yeah,
but
there
I
isn't.
wanted to be on that canal boat coming into Camden.
Interesting, yeah.
So boring, but there you go.
No,
but
but
let it go, and we've had a lovely time. So,
Interesting. What do you think that unhealthy, let's call it, attachment, do you think that just is, like, I guess what I'm asking is there any solution to this, or is that just something we just have to put up with?
I'd like to think there's a solution, but I'm too old now, I think.
Too old? No way.
Yeah, I think I've got it now. Do you know what I mean? And I think for me, it's because of where I grew up in my family. I'm the eldest child.
Right.
Of 4, and I think I feel
your sense of control can come from that. Really?
Yeah,
wow.
I do.
Right.
Yeah.
In what way? Talk to me, because it's super interesting. That it's the. I know. I'm being nosy now.
Well, we lost our parents early, so I suppose I took on that control of role, don't I?
Right.
And so I just think I think you can always tell a child whether they're the eldest, the youngest, or the middle child. You can tell them.
What do you think I am? Oh, you've only met me for 2 minutes.
Middle.
Oh, oldest.
Are you the eldest?
I am,
you look very laid back.
I am very laid back, actually.
See, that's weird. That goes against what I've just said, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess it does. Yeah. I mean, for sure, I'm similar in I just want to be in control of things for sure. But yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there we go.
So is that just taking responsibility on for the younger ones then? Is that where it's come from, you think?
Yeah, caring for them, I suppose, making sure they're all right, really.
Right.
Yeah.
But then obviously it's translated into your life now and things like that. Right.
Yeah. So.
Wow, super interesting. Any last thoughts on just? I mean,
only other controlling is relationships. You get controlling relationships, but is that something else?
Right.
Where somebody wants to control the relationship.
Well, that's super interesting.
That's not healthy.
Right. Okay. Do you think? Talk to me about that. How come?
I mean, I don't think I'm in that. I don't think that's
in that
me.
Place,
but I mean, I would hate to be in a relationship that's controlling. It must be absolutely awful.
Yeah.
But no, that's
it's almost a form of manipulation, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You're just trying to manipulate.
Yeah.
Just for your own.
Yeah.
Like, according to
and
your own will,
it's just not nice, is it? You wouldn't do that to somebody you thought a lot about, would you? Really? So.
Yeah. But what if you genuinely thought this is just me, coming from a neutral standpoint? Let's call it. What if I genuinely thought that me manipulate them and things like that was actually what was best for them? Like, some people are in that headspace where they think, oh, I'm in control here, but it's because I think it's what's best for them.
Yeah,
but even that isn't good, obviously.
To a level, perhaps, I think. I know people in that situation where, they need somebody to direct them.
Yeah.
But it can come over controlling as well.
Yeah.
But in some ways, that person needs that person, don't they?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
super interesting. Thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you.
What a legend.
I'm a legend. Oh.
We have Anna, right?
Yes.
Brilliant. Lovely to meet you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Cool. We're talking about control today, and just want to hear your opinion on what control is for you.
What control is?
Yeah. How would you define it?
The first thing in my mind is control about your life, like to have control over what you are doing, what you are able to control, within your daily basis.
Yeah.
That's
Brilliant.
my first
Yeah.
thought.
So that's very much like in my life or in your life, you're controlling those things. Do you ever think control can go even further out in terms of like the relationships around you and things like that?
Yes, for sure. Like control can be something negative in relationships or relations with people.
Yeah.
If you are trying to control other people within the freedom that they have.
Yeah. So why is that? Well, I mean, it sounds obvious, but why do you think that is negative, that we try and have control in those situations and things?
We are trying to have control to feel the power, I guess.
Right. To feel. Wow. That's. I don't know if you realize, but that's going to be our title for this episode. No, I'm joking. But so feel like power. Anything else related to that, or?
To feel that we can have impact on the life of our life or people around. Yeah. I guess.
So it sounds very like selfish, right? For my own good, not necessarily thinking about the other person and what's best for them.
It shouldn't be selfish, of course.
It shouldn't. Yeah. Do you think then, going back to the control that we have, I guess, in our own lives, do you think that can be good? And do you think there's an unhealthy side to that at all, or do you think that's always good that you have?
What can be unhealthy, I think, is if you are trying to control everything and you are too maniac about it, not like letting go in some situations.
Yeah. How can you tell you're in that place? Do you think there's any like little signs to look out for or anything like that? Or
if you are feeling unhappy, because of this kind of
or anxious maybe, those sort of things, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Can you see that in your life? I'm making it a little bit personal now, or do you feel like you've got the balance pretty well?
No, I think that I have the balance pretty well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just a couple more questions.
Okay.
So back to the then unhealthy side of things. Have you ever been in a place where maybe you've been in like a relationship, not necessarily romantic, but also friendships as well? I see this in a lot. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been in a place where it has been unhealthy and someone else has been trying to maybe manipulate you slightly or in control?
Not really. I'm trying to avoid this kind of, no.
So interesting,
I wouldn't say.
Well, how do I know I'm in that situation, do you think?
Again, possibly when you are feeling overwhelmed.
Right.
And not feeling the freedom to make your decisions.
Right, that's so interesting, yeah. Someone else controlling your choices, right?
Yes.
Amazing. Brilliant. Any last words on control in general? Just last question.
Not really.
Yeah, perfect.
I have a blank space.
No, that's great. That's great. You've said more than enough. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Anna. Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, so I am here with Bethany now.
Hi.
All right, Bethany, when I say the word control, what do you think? Just go.
Government.
Government, okay.
Yeah.
Why? Can you elaborate on that now?
I guess like the government, with like especially after lockdown and stuff, they can control our lives like that, like so quickly, so instantly, and like you can get arrested for like going down the road, which happened in lockdown to many people.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, but they can do whatever they want. So they have control over us and what they do because they can do whatever they want.
Now, before, like, example, lockdown, right, when all of a sudden it was, you can get arrested from walking down the street, would you also say that like, the government had control, but it was more of a positive? Or was it always kind of negative? Or how do you kind of view that?
I mean, I guess with the whole virus thing, like, it was a positive because, we don't want more people to get ill and die.
Yeah.
But at the same time, especially with like Boris and how it was on, off. Oh, don't worry, you'll have Christmas like normal 2 days before. No Christmas for anyone. Like, I think that's when it started being like really trying to take an advantage of it, especially when you hear about all the parties and stuff they were having. And, while people like couldn't go see their relatives that were dying, they were like drinking booze in the garden together. Yeah. It's just not right.
So, I mean, just kind of talking about this and kind of going a bit deeper, would you say that maybe like an inappropriate exercising of control leads to distrust?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the situation we are at the moment with the government because we don't trust them. I don't think Boris will get back in. I didn't mean to make this so political, by the way.
You know what? I love it. We are so here for that.
I'm not a political person, which is the biggest joke.
First of all, what does that mean to you? You're not a political person.
I care about politics and what's going on in the world, but at the same time, if it doesn't affect me directly, I'm not massively involved.
Right.
Because I'm like very empathetic and it weighs me down. Like all the stuff going on in Ukraine and stuff, like if I read too much about it, like I would be in my room crying all the time.
Yeah, it's heavy.
So I just ignore it slightly.
Yeah.
But like not in a bad way.
Hey, fair enough. Okay.
You know, like not in a bad way. Like I know what's going on and it's really awful. But at the same time, in order for me to get on with the day-to-day, because unfortunately the world doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Because there's a tragedy somewhere. So in order for me to like go to work and make money, I have to ignore it because otherwise I wouldn't be able to function.
Yeah. Do you think being in like that system of like, okay, going to work, making money, is that a form of control as well? Or do you see that more as maybe social responsibility? I'm sorry, these are getting real deep.
Yeah, I say real deep. Oh my God. It's only what? I can't even tell the time right now. It's early. Sorry, can you repeat the question? My brain just went.
The whole like institution, if you will, or like the, okay, going to work, making money, like it almost doesn't give us that space to actually maybe be fully empathetic. Would you say that like that's a form of control as well, like from the institutions, or is that our social responsibility to be like players in society?
Okay, I guess it's a bit of both, and it depends on what industry you work in as well, I think, as to how you feel about it. Like, if everyone had to do like 9 to 5, that's control, because not everyone's built for that.
Yeah.
I'm not, like for sure. Like I would like just not be here if I'm honest.
You're a creative, right?
Yeah.
So you need that kind of time and that space. And
I need the time, and like we're really lucky with like what we're doing now, is because it is literally the weather's wonderful. We're outside.
Yeah.
And it's like just minimum 5 people a day, if you can get that. Anything more is a bonus.
Yeah.
But you know, just like enjoy it. Be in the sun. Like have a great time.
Yeah.
And like that doesn't feel like work to me, but it is what it is, you know.
There you go. And like let's kind of zero it now into your personal life a little bit. Like, how do you kind of view control in that? Is it positive? Is it negative? Do you want control? Because something that we find a lot is that as humans we like tend to control things around us, but we hate being controlled. And that is like a kind of a paradox that I'm like working through, like even in myself right now.
That makes so much
sense. So I was just wondering if you have anything like with that in your kind of day-to-day life. So we have it on the big system, like political system. Now what about in like the mundane, if you will, or like your personal life?
I never actually looked at it like that. Because I still live at home, because after uni, you know, trying to live in London is so expensive.
It is.
I cannot, like, it might be a while, and then all the bills have gone up, and everything's increased by crazy amounts.
Inflation.
So I really cannot, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, living at home versus living, like, by yourself with your friends, like, the control in that is, like, where are you going? What time are you home? Who are you with? Like, it's just, as, like, a 21-year-old, I'm just like, what? I'm an adult, I have my own money.
Right.
But it's not as bad as like when I was younger.
Right.
Where it was literally my mum would have to give me the money because I was like 14.
Yeah.
So it's controlled in that aspect, but it's also not, because I do have the freedom to like go out. Because again, with working and having your own income, you have the freedom to go out and spend time with your friends on your own. I've forgotten the word for it. But on your own time, you know, with your own decisions, it's your money you're spending, so you're not being controlled by parents or whoever's lending you money to do it. So,
would you also say though, like, I'm gonna compare your parents to the political system?
We love that.
So sorry about that.
Sorry, mum and dad.
Yeah, right. But would you say though that control though has an underlying trust, because you know, even if it's annoying that they are, I'm gonna assume, looking out for your best interest in that sense. So does that kind of change it then? Like, if control with distrust versus control with trust? Or do you still look at it as negative all the way around?
Oh no, I see it as positive at home, because I know it's just like, my mum wants to know where I am, so like if I get into trouble, she knows where to go.
Right,
you know? Or if something's happening in a certain area of London, because like, things are, as you said, the sun comes out, people are crazy.
Yeah.
You know, all sorts could happen. So if she knows, like today she knows I'm in Camden, if something's happening in Brixton, she's not worried.
Right.
Whereas if she just knew I was in London, it'd be like, well, was she involved in that? Is she okay? Is she in hospital? Is she alive?
Right.
Like, I think it's a positive in that aspect. Same as like when she goes out, I do the same.
Do you actually?
Yeah, especially now that I'm older. I'm like, where are you going? Who are you with?
Where have you been, young lady?
When are you coming home?
Yeah, and is there any way that you can kind of see control in like in a sense where you are kind of controlling something, you know what I mean? Maybe positive, maybe negative, that's up to you, and the way that you view it. But is there anything that you're like, I kind of want to control this, and then a step further that maybe you're like, something you can't control that you're trying to control? Do you know what I mean? Because there's things that we can't control in the world.
Oh, yeah, of course. I think, like, you always try to control your life, but in, like, a positive way, like, by choosing what you study at school, what you're going to do, if you're going to go to uni, if you're not, what you're going to do for work. Like, that's a positive control. But I think it's negative when you start to try and control the people in your life and what they're doing.
Right.
Unless, obviously, it's a child, because they need control.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, when they get older, like, releasing that control and understanding they've got to make their own way in life.
Right.
You know? So I think it's a bit of both, like, positive and negative. Yeah. You know? It's just life, you know?
Fair enough.
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one, and I think that's one of the things that we've definitely been, like, learning today is that there is no, like, extreme that works, right? It's all about the balance. So that's great. Any parting words for us today? Or you can also plug your photography or what you're doing today
cool.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Give you that chance.
Oh my god, yeah. So we're out today on a project with about faces in London, with Mono Navy, who are a really cool sustainable fashion brand.
There you go.
Yeah, they're really cool.
We actually met because you asked us to model for this thing. So
Yeah.
we said, awesome, if you let us interview us, or you for our podcast. So that's perfect.
Pretty much.
Create us working together.
Yeah, it's how life works, you know.
Amazing.
Collaboration is key.
Amen.
There we go.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been awesome.
No problem. Thanks for giving me the chance, I guess.
Of course. All right. What a time that was.
Oh, what a time. Yeah, it was class.
Honestly,
was.
so good.
Yeah.
Some really great conversations. Some really great off-camera conversations
Honestly,
as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's a shame we just couldn't
Couldn't film.
film all of that. But
Yeah.
we had a lot of good chats afterwards.
People had a lot to say today.
Yeah. Really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, what's kind of like maybe your big takeaway like from this, if you have one, if you had to have one?
I think people are totally aware, not totally aware, but I think they're aware that they have control, but I don't think it's looked at as a bad thing.
Yeah.
So, like, when I was chatting to Karen, she was just like, yeah, like, I like to have control, and that's comfort. And she was totally acknowledging that, like, when she doesn't have that, then she gets wobbly, she explained it. So, like, in terms of, like, it's a weird place.
Like the security
yeah,
you need. That's
and
so
I
interesting.
think if I remember right as well, she, like, acknowledged that it was probably not the best, but it's also the way it is. It's kinda like...
like, we almost can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and it was interesting. Oh, man, I don't like... I mean, Karen, what a legend, but...
Oh, yeah.
But I love the idea of, like, being able to, like, work on something and...
You're very proactive.
Yeah, get better at it, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, yeah,
Yeah.
it was interesting. Yeah. What about you?
Well, I think, everyone had a lot of different, like, takes on it. Or, like, they didn't, but they did.
Yeah.
Like, I know Bethany at the end was talking a lot about, like, government control, you know, and kind of more of the oppression in that sense.
Sure.
And, like, less about the control, like, in her day-to-day life. But then we had people, like, for example, the first girl, Becky, I think her name was.
Okay.
Becca?
Yeah.
Oh, Becca, maybe? Ed Sheeran fan. How she was saying that, like, that's, like, the main thing for her, right? And, like, how do you get, like, your anxiety under control?
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really cool and very unique and, like, personal, like, aspect of that as well.
Yeah.
Because I really don't think that there is, like, okay, like, control is good or bad. You know what I mean? Because a certain aspect of it is
good.
needed.
Yeah, for sure.
But, yeah.
It's that fine line, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, what is unhealthy and what is too far, and
Yeah.
I guess your attachment to it as well
Yeah.
is a big thing.
And I think it also, your attachment to it, and, like, what's your, like, connotation? Like, do you have, like, is it a good thing for you, or is it, like, a bad thing? Like, how have you been brought up, you know? And I know there was one person who didn't make it on the pod, but it was almost like when we were just talking to him about control, it was like, I think the fact that we maybe insinuated that he was controlling
yeah.
did not set him off quite well.
No.
Which is actually very fascinating.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, like, that's clearly a negative connotation, but then you have someone, like, again, like Becca, who is like, no, like, it's good to get your life in control, to get yourself in control, you know?
Actually, that's so true. We were like, well, I was like, oh, do you think you have control in this and this and this? And it was kind of like, almost like attacking them, almost, like, without meaning to, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's weird how they saw it as an attack, and it's like, it did
Which
have
I
a
think,
negative connotation.
yeah,
but
and
everyone wants it, and everyone
Yeah,
thinks
that's
they
the
should have
thing.
it, but
We
yeah,
all
it's
want
so
it,
weird.
you know, like we don't want anyone to control us. So then we want control, but then in like effect of that is then we end up controlling things and people around us because that's what control is.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like this very strange
It's a
kind
funny,
of like
it's a funny world. Yeah.
yeah, and control is such a big word and such a big I don't know thing, and I feel like you can talk about it in a lot of different ways, or it can come across in different ways. So
Well, I think there's a lot of things that go under control.
Absolutely.
You know? So maybe someone doesn't see it as control, but manipulation and
Yeah.
just order even and
Yeah.
whatever else, whatever the other words you can use,
exactly.
they all go under control because that's how you're using that,
Exactly.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
to be in control. Yeah. Interesting.
It's so interesting, and that's again why we do these episodes on the
Yeah, we
street
love it.
because, it was kind of spicy. It was kind of spicy.
It was, yeah. It was fun and a lot of networking and stuff. So.
Yeah, made some good connections as
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again,
Brilliant.
for those listening / watching, we hope that something in here maybe opened up your perspective or got you
Yeah.
to challenge what you're thinking, or maybe it will confirm what you're already thinking. You know what I mean? As well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will see you next time.
Yeah.
But until then, where can they find us,
They
Zach?
can find us on all podcast platforms.
Yes.
I always just say one of them. YouTube, and then obviously the Anchor of the Week on Instagram.
And TikTok.
TikTok. Oh, yes.
I'm trying to get him / the team to do TikTok trends, and we will see. So stay tuned to see if that works
Yeah.
out.
Oh, man, yeah. Yeah. Brilliant.
Anyway, but before you see us on the TikTok, you'll probably see us next week. So have a great week.
Yeah.